Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you so much. You can have your seats. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WERK anniversary, 30th anniversary and annual dinner. Yes, we have seats there? Okay. Yeah, so welcome everyone. My name is Ernest Onguko and I will be the MC today, and I will be assisted by Walter Munde. So karibuni sana, and those who are taking tea, please, you can take the tea and come to your tables. So I just want to know how many generations are here today at WERK at 30. Yeah? How many generations do we have here? Gen Zs, can you say zzz? Hey, okay. The silent, do you have the silent generation? Just stay silent a little bit. The boomers, if you're a boomer, say boo, 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 boo. So we have some boomers, some hands up. The boomers, very nice. Generation X. Nice. Generation X. So if you're a Generation X, you're from that generation of yeah? When you're passing and someone says that started from those days. Gen Zs, not Gen Zs, but millennials. Say meow. Oh, karibu sana. And the alphas. Do you have alphas here? I thought I saw one. Any alpha? None. Okay. So, thank you so much for coming. And we will begin today's ceremony. And I want to first, I don't know, you know, the activity I want us to do, and people are still taking tea. Yeah? Can we all just stand up? Please. Can we all just stand up? Don't worry, there is enough tea. So, I just want you to do what I'm doing, okay? Just do after I do what I'm doing. Is that instruction enough? Like if I do this, you'll do what? You do as after I do, okay? And as we sing, there is a song, I think it's James Sangoy who taught me this some time back then. It's called Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, okay? Yeah? So I'll do some signs and you do it after me. And at some point, I'll be faster. So you also have to be faster. Okay? So when I tap Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, you also say Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Okay? Let's do a trial. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, Alibaba and the 40. So you see some people are doing it with me instead of after me. Yeah? Do it after me, okay? So we do it once again. Oh, my mic, I wish I had a... Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. 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 Okay. Thank you, thank you. You can have your seats. So, I know we have started late, but sorry for that. But we continue celebrating work at 30. So, thinking about work, what comes to your mind? With one word. When I say go, you'll just tell me what you think about work. Okay? Just think about that word. When you think about work, what word comes to your mind? So when I say go, I want everyone to shout that word. Understood? Go. Let's do it again. Just shout. Okay, let's do it again. Let's go. Okay, thank you so much. So, to start us, I would like to invite Miss Sophia Yeager. Yep. I'd like to invite Ms. Sophia Yeager, give us a brief background of background of the event at Work on 30, and the annual dinner. Then after that, we will be joined by the chair, who I think will be online. So, karibu.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Let me start by inviting all the work staff members. Wherever you are, please come. All work staff members, just come forward. There they are, they are coming. Very beautiful ladies. And very handsome men. Very beautiful ladies and handsome men. All work staff, please come forward. They are still coming. So this is work secretariat. We are 30 in number. A few of us are not here today. They are based in Turkana, in the camp, in Kakuma refugee camp. So for them, we may not be able to introduce them today, but I'll give you an opportunity just to introduce yourself. Tell the team here your name, what you are doing at work, and if you are implementing a project, just say which project it is, very fast. And I will not go by any order, but kindly, if you allow me, I'll start with Ezekiel.
Good evening, and thank you very much, members and our visitors. My name is Ezekiel Kuto. I'm a program manager at WERK, and I'm happy to be with you today, or this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ezekiel.
Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Mumbua. I work at WERK, and I support the programs team in a complementary program. Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Catherine Angwenyi, an education officer implementing UNICEF project, the last mile connectivity out of school, and the Lego bread bricks components. Thank you and welcome.
Good evening. So my name is Lois Cherwan. I am the Capacity Building and Research Officer. Currently we are implementing RDP program and some research proposals we've been writing with a lot of you. So welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emma Kerigo, and I am the IT and procurement officer at WERK, and also as well as I double up as the administrative assistant. And karibuni sana. It's been a mile for WERK, and we are all happy to celebrate WERK at 30. Karibuni sana.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Francis. I'm the accounts officer, WERK. Welcome.
It's such a delightful moment to see all of us here. Good evening. My name is Kevin Otieno. I'm the Senior Education Officer for the UNICEF project, implementing 3 components, that is last mile connectivity of schools, Lego Braille bricks, and out-of-school children in Kajiado, Homa Bay, Kilifi, and Busia County. Thank you so much and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laureen Olwach. I'm the education officer, and the program that I am implementing is complementary schools. Karibuni sana.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Evelyn Ojuang. I work for the UNICEF project, the last mile connectivity in Homa Bay County, County of Endless Potential.
Wow, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ernest Ondigo, Field Education Officer, doing the very one that she mentions, the last mile connectivity to schools in Busia. Please feel most welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Salute if you can see me. Thank you. My name is Walter Mounde. I lead the Gender, Disability and Social Inclusion Unit at WERK. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening once more. Thank you for coming. My name is Lynette Mwende. I'm the Resource Development and Partnership Officer, and we are grateful and thankful that you are here to celebrate WERK at 30 with us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rose Abigail, Office Assistant in charge of health.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lucy Mbwire Fatima. I'm the Programs Assistant at WERK, but I also double as the Membership Engagement and Communications Officer, standing in for Jackie. So it's been a long journey organizing this event. We just hope that you will all enjoy yourselves and we all celebrate together. And it's also been lovely engaging with all the members here. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Trisha Mwangi, Procurement Assistant, and you're all welcome.
Good evening. I'm Don Kelvin. I double up as Communication Assistant and IT Assistant.
Good evening. My name is Kasim Gasambi. I work as an education officer in charge of Kilifi County. I work for the last mile connectivity project, dabbling with the Lego Braille bricks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that is the WERK Secretariat, and they are the ones who have organized this beautiful gathering. Thank you very much. Just have a seat. Yeah, so my name is Sophia Yega. I'm the CEO of Women Educational Researchers of Kenya, and I'm glad to be here today in this gathering because we are celebrating our employer. For me, when somebody asks that question of, what do you think about WERK? What comes to my mind is my employer. So our chief guest, Professor Fatuma Chege, WERK members, development partners, colleagues in academia, representatives from research organizations and other organizations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am very delighted this evening reflecting on the journey of work. It has been 30 years since a group of women thought about work. So tonight is a moment of joy, gratitude, and reflection as we mark 30 years of women educational researchers of Kenya. 3 decades of evidence, innovation, action, advocacy, and transformation in education sector. I begin by expressing my deepest appreciation to all who make work what it is. To our members, thank you for your expertise, professionalism, research contributions, and unwavering commitment. You remain the heartbeat of this organization. For those of you who have listened to me in the past, you remember I always say that our strength as an organization is in the members. I saw that at the beginning of my journey with work, and I still see that today. To our board of directors, your leadership and wisdom ensure that work remains strategic, accountable, and aligned to its vision. And hence, we appreciate you. An organization that is governed well is an organization that goes very, very far. To our hardworking secretariats, you are the engine that keeps work running every day, and your passion and resilience make all things visible. You have seen them here. They are a very, very hardworking team, and we are doing everything that we can, that is within our means to ensure that work grows. And therefore, I am sure that all members and all those who are concerned will be seeing very many changes come January next year. To our partners, donors, government agencies, universities, and collaborating institutions, thank you very much for believing in us and in our work, and we request you to remain working with us to advance inclusive, evidence-based education in Kenya. This year marks 10 years since I joined work, since I stepped into the leadership of work as a CEO. I'm humbled by the grace that has sustained us and honored, and I'm honored to serve in this great institution. I buy fully our values of equity, integrity, learning, inclusivity, and excellence. And therefore, these values shape every action that we take and reminds us that work exists not for itself, but for women, girls, children, families, educators, and communities that lives depend on fair and inclusive education. One of the most powerful aspects of work is its identity as a professional membership organization, and it is inspiring to associate ourselves with professors, doctors, consultants, researchers, development practitioners, and emerging professionals from across Kenya, across Africa, and across the world. All these are united by shared purpose to advance education through evidence. Truly, great things are never done by one person. They are done by a team or a group of people. And WERK community is that team, a dynamic force that has shaped this organization's legacy for the 3 decades. WERK has grown. Those of you who have associated with WERK before, WERK has grown tremendously in the past decade. When I joined WERK, the program activities were centered in Nairobi and Kajiado. Today, we have established offices, sub-offices, with qualified officers in Kajiado, Kilifi, Homa Bay, and Busia. We have delivered programs, evaluations, and research projects across the entire country and even regionally. WERK is now recognized as a women-led organization, inclusive educational research organization, championing the rights of women, girls, and children, while uplifting communities through evidence-based intervention. WERK remains unique in the Kenyan education sector as an organization built to generate knowledge, shape policy, and influence practice with a vision to lead not only nationally, but also regionally. As we celebrate the 30 years, we also look at the future. And hence, our new strategic plan, 2026 to 2030, lays a foundation for our bold, long-term vision, which we are calling Quantum Leap 2040. This plan deepens our focus on inclusivity, equality, equity, digital learning, rigorous research, gender equality, community empowerment, sustainability, and systematic transformation. One of our ongoing challenges, and all of us, if you are members here, you are able to relate with this, that one of our ongoing challenges has been engaging extraordinarily with intellectual talent within our membership. And we are hoping that the current strategic plan will be able to help us engage with the members in a more productive way. As a result, we request the members to work together in various thematic areas or thematic groupings, and our secretariat is here ready to work with you so that we can develop work to the level we want it to be. Allow me to conclude with these words, that the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. As we celebrate 30 years of impact, we know our best work is still ahead, is yet to be achieved. Peter Drucker once said, and I quote, that the best way to predict the future is to create it now. So tonight, let us commit to create the future we want for WERK, for Kenya, and for education across Africa. Together with the members, the secretariats, our partners, and friends of WERK, we want to work together to achieve the quantum leap that I've talked about. It is ambitious for those people who have gone through it, but we are ready to work and achieve it. Thank you very much, and happy work at 30.
Asante, asante. Thank you so much, Sophie, and your team. Okay. Yeah. So let's give a clap. Let's give 30 with our legs, with our legs. Okay. Let's start. Wait, those are a lot of years, right? Hey, the day we will get to 60, you guys will be tired. Yeah? So thank you so much, Sophie, for that. So we also have our chair who would like to say something. And I think she's online. And maybe if you can play the clip for her to just say remarks. If she's not going to talk, Winnie is going to say something. I think Winnie is going to represent her. Winnie, if you can come. She's talking, but she has no... Yeah, Winnie.
It would have been wonderful, of course, to hear directly from the chair, but sometimes with technology, things decide that it's not working, but nevertheless, we shall proceed. So my name is Winnie Cherotich, and excuse me, for this moment, I am standing here on behalf of the WERK chairperson of the board. And before I read her speech, which of course she was going to go over, I would just like to convey her apologies. She's not in Nairobi. I think not even in Kenya at the moment because of an assignment. The other board members also are not present because of work assignments, but I'm going to tell you who they are. So the chair, we have Dr. Irene Nyamu, who is the chair of the interim board. Then we have Professor Margaret Oloko, who is the co-chair. We have Dr. Winfred Kadambi, who is the treasurer. We have Amos Kaburu, who is a member of the board. We have Peter Njoroge, also a member of the board. We have Dr. Karin Hyde, who is also a member. And myself, Winnie Cherotich, who is your organizing secretary. So first of all, I would like to welcome you to this event. We are really happy that you're able to make it. In our discussions and planning for this, we were not sure how many people will actually show up. Sometimes you can plan and you do not see the numbers, but this is such a wonderful time and opportunity to see that all of you made it to this WERK at 30 celebrations. So I know I might have a broken protocol, but let me ride on what has been laid. But to our chief guest, Prof, the members and our guests, all of you, you're most welcome. And now I go ahead to read the remarks from our board chair. Dear WERK members, it gives me great pleasure to give this end of year message and paint a picture of the future WERK 2.0, which we have charted together over the last 6 months of 2025. Though I regret that I'm not there with you physically, nevertheless, I share in the joy and the mood of this momentous occasion. Therefore, my message celebrates our 30 years of success and foregrounds hope of the great promise and potential that WERK still wields. The last 6 months have confirmed to me that WERK has embarked on one of its most ambitious phases since its establishment through the Quantum Leap Vision 2040. The Strategic Plan 2026-2030 marks a turning point in the history of women educational researchers of Kenya. It comes at a time when we celebrate 30 years of our existence, a point at which we acknowledge that our founders' vision in the 1990s remains as relevant today as it was then. We have achieved a lot together, and in that time, WERK has made great contribution to the gender and education work in Kenya, being among the first organizations that actively spoke against gender-based violence, against schoolgirls in various public spaces, especially public transport, confronting barriers to girls' access to quality education, spotlighting the exclusion and limited recognition of the contribution of women in science and technology, as well as political and social development. WERK was also among the first organizations to bring to the fore conversations on value-based education and the need to transform our education system by shifting the curriculum from purely knowledge-driven teaching and assessment practices to the nurturing of a whole learner and nurturing critical skills and competencies. Although through the years, our remarkable progress is demonstrable and we are extremely proud of what we have achieved as a professional organization, we are also cognizant of the various institutional, operational, programmatic challenges we have had to confront and find ways to overcome. Notable among one on governance, the need to introspect our governance structure, which largely served us for the last 3 decades, but has shown limited resilience in the recent past. Secondly, on programs, a real need to review our strategic goals to better align with changes occurring in the research and education landscape in the face of changing technological advancements, including AI. Thirdly, on membership, the challenge of becoming more responsive to the needs of a diverse relevant. Lastly, on sustainability, the urgency with which we must build a sustainable organization demands require the emergence of a transformed WERK. Against this backdrop, WERK has embarked on a 15-year journey of renewal, growth, and transformation. The vision is to become a formidable the Vision 2040 Quantum Leap framework. The framework envisages a phased growth process broken down into 3 stages of 5 years each, involving a foundational phase, followed by the acceleration phase, and that after a decade, we usher in the consolidation phase. The first 5 years will allow us to build a strong institution, redesign our programs by embedding research, and be member-centric, whilst also effectively planning for resourcing of our programs, which will prepare I have no doubt in my mind that this strategic plan has been one of the most consultative and innovative ways of developing a strategic plan in a membership organization. I am grateful to all of you who took time to make their written seminars and held long deliberations with the internal and external consultants. Several members also served in very I extend a very heartfelt thank you. You confirm that WERK has lived through the 30 years because of the contributions and commitment of its members who drive the body corporate. I would like to call upon all our members to sustain the interest and vigor demonstrated during drafting process. LEAP Vision 2040 over the next 15 years. This way, we can transform WERK into a vibrant educational research organization in Kenya and in the African region, as articulated in our new strategy. With these few remarks, I wish great celebration at 30, a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and most blessed 2026. Dr. Irene Yamu, Interim Board Chairperson, WERK. Maybe in my next life I will be a politician, because politicians add a few things. But today, since I am not, process, there have been lots of consultations, and as the organizing secretary, members for that. We will soon hopefully be having. We thank you for the process that we have gone through since we got into office last year in February, and we hope that we can support even the new team that will be coming in the new year. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ernest.
Thank you so much, Winnie. Makofi, please. Thank you for that, and also on behalf of the board, Dr. Irene. So, I have been given very big powers by this committee to decide what you will take home, each and every one of you. I will decide if it's a woman or a man. I will decide. It is upon me to decide. So when I say raffle, you say raffle. 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 Now start getting that raffle that you have. Did you get something? Did you register? Are those so number, this raffle is very unequal, or what's the word? Round, I'm the final, right? Yeah, I'm the final. Everyone, you have it? Lift it up. Lift it up. So smile at me, because I'm the one deciding. Yeah? So before I call it, so if you came with a friend today, just say hi. If you came with a friend here today, I have seen 1, 2, 3. If you came with a friend, if you like free food in events, say yes. Okay. So, let me decide. Everyone is silent, eh? Number 30. Who was number 30? You do? I have to confirm. Is this our printer or what? Yeah, this one. Yeah, just stay there. Anyone else? Oh. Come. Number 30. Number 30, that's great. Yeah, we have many. I'm deciding. So, we only have 2. So, Nice. Okay, okay. I have some presents for them. Where are the presents? Yeah. Very nice. And you have to show them what it is in there. Yeah? Emma, you present to them the gift and the audience has to see what's coming. I hope you saw many bags as you came. Yeah? Just look at that. Oh. Hey. Yeah. Present it to one. Raffle, raffle, raffle. Raffle, raffle, raffle. Okay. Nice one. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hey guys, keep smiling at me. I'm looking at you. Yeah. You have 30. There. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, 10. If you joined this organization before 2010. Before 2010. Before 2010. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey. Many. Oh. Happy 30 years together. Everyone say that. Happy 30 years together. So we still have some raffles. You still have your number? Do you think it's the lucky one? Okay. So I think right now I want to invite James Angoye for just a short presentation here. And if you look at the program, we still have raffles, right? Yeah, so there are still goodies. So James Angoye will talk shortly on a presentation of the strategic plan that has been, as members, we have been part of during the past few months. So Karibu James, I hope the presentation is ready. Yeah, thank you, James.
Just take a short while to make the presentation on just insights on the strategic plan that the chair has talked about through Winnie. As it's coming up, an interesting journey. When we were brought in, it was a unique way because WERK decided that the board decided that they will have an internal and an external consultant. And for the internal consultant, it will be somebody who has been part of WERK. And through their wisdom, they landed on me as the internal consultant, but also a member of WERK. And then there was an external consultant team, which I think is represented. I saw Professor Nyerere. I thought I saw her. Oh, yes. Professor Nyerere, who was part of the team of the external consultants. And we worked quite well together. And why I'm saying this was transformative is because of the participation of members. I think throughout the way it was structured, there were that and a task force that was formed for the strategic plan, which has never happened in WERK before. And then the committees had 2 co-chairs. Each of the committees, there were 4, had 2 co-chairs, and they used to meet weekly to discuss different components of the strategic plan. So it was really quite a transformative process, and we believe that whatever we are going to share is part of that process. I can see the technology is failing me, but I came with my Makenya. I knew I'd even had hard copy, just in case. Can proceed, Walter? I proceed. Yeah, I think the slides will catch up with me.
Okay, the slides will catch up with me. Yeah, so one of the things that we did with this strategic plan was, first of all, to just reflect back 30 years ago. Where did WERK start from, and why was WERK formed? And had consultations with founder members, founder chairs, and to just understand why was WERK formed, the cause of WERK. And that unearthed quite some interesting findings. And part of it was that there was, and members felt that there was some kind of drift. The drift from focusing a lot on research and going towards a programmatic kind of organization. And that, I think, was a concern from the members. So that was one of the findings. The second issue that came out was just about the members' participation. And their feeling was that members' participation was not coming out quite clearly. And part of it was systemic, and part of it was just generally the busyness. You know, members were busy doing very in different times. So members will be active at a certain cycle and then not active. Another member will be active. Amongst members. So what came out was like, how can that be addressed? Why this particular drift? That was reaffirmed, that WERK was Women Educational Researchers of Kenya. And that course was to advance women educational researchers of Kenya. That course was reaffirmed. And the whole point had been women had been underrepresented, especially in the research field, education field. That underrepresentation, it was reaffirmed that course was there. The issue about evidence, that WERK was an evidence-based organization, and therefore evidence was really critical. And previous projects had been that at the core of it. How can the gender transformative approaches be applied to the programs for WERK? How do we link advocacy and to action? That was happening, but now from a programmatic side, the research side was a bit was a bit weak. So the other bit that was noted in terms of just finding the previous experiences of WERK was the whole point of the camaraderie, how WERK used to come together. And one thing was noted, that post-COVID, especially after COVID, that coming together was not so much. And that was a concern of WERK, that it had been known to be a close-knit, people would start professional relationships, but it would trickle down to even having personal relationships and advancing each other beyond the professional scene in terms of the different members. So that was about the course. Now, moving on, I can see it has caught up. So the board, in its wisdom, designed a 15-year, what you've had, the quantum leap, 2040. This was a 15-year journey because one of the challenges that had been noted is that the drift had been because of lack of coherence between the different strategic plans. So that had led to the drift. So the board, and of course in collaboration members, decided that why not project 15 years and then now phase it up into five years plan. And that's the quantum leap 2040. Sorry, I can see for the boomers, that might not be very, very useful. Yeah. No problem. Sorry. Yeah. So that journey of having the foundation, then which was repeated, going into acceleration between 2031 to 2035, and then finally consolidation, having WERK get into a regional educational research organization, not just Kenya, but regional educational research by 2040. You know, so that every work. That is the vision at the end of the 2040. Aspiration, of course, is to be Africa's leading women-centered educational research organization. That is the aspiration that WERK has by 2040. So then, but then we come to now the foundation. In the foundation, which is 2026 to 2030, next slide please. The 4 goals that were identified as critical was 1, the issue about membership and the identity around work. As I indicated earlier on, it had been noted that they had been adrift. Membership were not, the members were feeling not so included in the activities of work when the work became program. And there were good reasons, because at some point, especially during the shift towards COVID, the resources were more aligned towards programs. So the issue of strengthening membership, that's a focus 2030, and we'll be just highlighting on how that has been proposed. Having regional chapters within Kenya, perhaps converting issues around governance was the challenge that WERK had before this interim board, the challenge that led to the interim board being there, that's related to governance, the merging between what the management was doing and what the board was doing. So issues are just structuring governance to be a bit strengthened. That came out as an area of concern, and suggestions have been made around having a board of trustees, because during that crisis of work, you know, the eminent, we call them the eminent founder members or life members of work came together and were able to rescue the situation, but so there's need for a mechanism constitutionalize that to ensure that the governance is strong. Then of course, programs. In terms of programs, the focus would be in 2 critical pathways. Core research, what we call core research, which will include publications, briefs, and all that, ensuring that WERK is doing research. So doing research and cutting edge research, we call it cutting edge. So what was being done in the late 90s, so that kind of cutting, that is generated from WERK and not necessarily generated from outside or driven by external parties, but generated within WERK that is relevant. So that is the core research that we're talking about. And then of course, secondly is research-informed implementation, whereby now the focus would be in any project, and we'll be getting into that very quickly, shortly, around ensuring that those programs are also having a research output out of them. That is something that has not been happening. There have been quite, other than the value-based education, there have been quite a number of programs that do not have any research output that is ingrained. learning. So that's how programs is being envisioned in this new strategy. And then sustainability, what is allocated towards research within work, using programs as a pathway to also build the research arm of work. So going on, just that as it's doing all these, but the researchers within work are also being strengthened. The mentorship is being undertaken within work, because that was also another challenge. One of the issues that came out from majority of the members, from new or new members to senior members, was the issue of mentorship, either wanting to be mentored or being given an opportunity to mentor. Came out quite consistently across the discussions. We've suggested a criteria so that we will apply issues such as what is that research generating in terms of evidence. If you are having any research, any program, what as we get into any program, there is that evidence that is generating, and there are markers around what is the evidence that will be generated. Engaging members professionally, ensuring that members, of course that has been happening, but systemizing that, ensuring that members are engaged in the programs systematically. They work with the program officers so that they are able to generate the evidence that we are talking about. And then, of course, align with what the strategic focuses that work has. So, what are some of the expected transformation? One, we expect members to be active. We took 100 to be just a baseline and said plus. Active members. There will be many members, but at least 100 active members at any point in time within work. That is one of the 2030, we have at least 5 chapters of work. We ensure that there's retention in members, because one of the things that we noted is that members are not being tracked. Members come in and out, and there's no tracking. In fact, when having a discussion in one of the meetings, it was noted that some members had passed on and nobody knew about that. And nobody knew. When you are trying to find out, mobilize members, it was found that a member has passed on and nobody knows. So just tracking members to find out who the members are and what their needs are. Research, ensuring that we have publications. Put 50. By the end of 2030, there should be at least 50 publications that have a research name. Since 2016, I think we only have the value-based education. That's almost 10 years with only one that can be acknowledged as work. So having 50. So 50 might look a small number, but it is something that we need to work towards 2030. Then, of course, in terms of 2026, what are we doing? This is the foundation year. We'll have membership as a focus, as I've indicated. Boarding our members. We had discussions with members, and some members, were indicating that I was onboarded in August last year, and I've never had any communication since then. So that thing of just including members and ensuring there's a work WhatsApp, and some were saying, I'm not even in that work WhatsApp. So through this process, we were ensuring that they are also brought into the fold. So just dealing with members as individuals so that we profile, not in the wrong way, but have what are the members, who are our members, and what are their interests. And then having that and infusing that, we program that. We are not just work members. And one of the suggestions was having caucuses, male caucus, having young members caucus, having senior and life members caucus. And caucuses become the feeding points of people having their interests together, but then we also have the general membership discussion. So that way we have a vibrant organization. Governance, I think, if some of these things are adopted, then there will need to be some review. Board of Trustees is not in any of our constitutional, so there's need to be change of constitution to include the Board of Trustees. If we are bringing in new categories of members, then there's need for that change to also happen. Of course, the systems, to support that, there will be need for
a male framework. It's a research organization. Have a very good, robust male framework. HR, if it is going to expand to different counties, how is the HR system, the finance?
So as I conclude, how do you all fit here? I know we have members here, we have partners. Of course, for members, research mentorship is guaranteed. Research mentorship will be one of the key highlights of this particular strategic plan. Next slide. Publishing opportunities. Publishing opportunities, having members, senior members that are very good in publishing, also working with junior members so that they are, you have co-authoring some of the policy papers or even journals. Policy platforms, having platforms where work is presenting and working together with the junior members to be exposed in the policy platforms. And then, of course, implementation opportunities. When implementing programs, we have work as part of that. And as you say, the two-way, having drive the research component as the program staff drive the program components. For partners, of course, research excellence. The promise is that they are very good researchers in this room and amongst gender transformative approaches. That will be discovered homegrown, just as those have been contributed a lot to the competence-based education. So that kind of thing is going to happen, and having a gender focus around that. And then, of course, to just conclude, we'll have a sustainable organization. And I'm glad to say as a parting shot, where is my daughter? I was one of those people who said, I must come with my daughter. Because you can't talk sustainability. Come say hi. I know I didn't plan to do this as she's a Gen Z.
Yeah.
I didn't plan to see. Come say hi, my daughter. Yeah, as I conclude, what I meant is that sustainability can only be practiced in practice. Yeah, so I told her,
okay.
No, come, you say hi. Thank you so much. It's very doable. WERK has the resource. We have been working with very many people that are in this room, in this particular strategic plan, and indeed, WERK is an organization.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Jewel.
Jewel.
Yes.
Yeah, she just finished Form 4. I'm hoping that she'll be convinced to be a member of WERK also.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Joel, I'm publicizing you. Joel was the youngest research participant in the value-based education.
Yeah.
10 years, that was 10 years ago.
2014. Yeah.
So I will not say her age, but you can guess. She was like a Gen Alpha at that time.
Yeah.
And she participated in a small kind of experimental program we had within the value-based, where we wanted to look at the impact of cartoons on values. She was one of the participants.
Hey, Jewel. Thank you so much. Jewel, you know I have powers. Come, I give you something. I have powers. Can you give Jewel something there? There is, just take one bag there. There's a bag. Yeah, bring it to Jewel. Thank you so much. And welcome. Be a member of WERK. We start the caucus. Which caucus is that? Karibu sana. So much for that, James, and also on behalf of the committee. And still, when I was seated down, they texted me and they gave me again more. I want to ask. I'll be biased, but Dr. Sheila and Wangoi won't answer this question. So I'll give something to someone, the first person who will say, which man, is that correct English? Said, we the women. Which man said that? We the women. Raffle, raffle, raffle. Raffle, raffle, raffle. Which man said we the women? And some people are Googling. Yeah. Who said we the women? Amin Dada? No. No. You want to say something? Which man? You've Googled. Who? Mike. Okay.
First of all, am I getting the raffle? Yes, the board member said I get. She supersedes your authority. Thank you.
Okay, tell us who said that.
Okay, that was said by the late Honorable Kenneth Matiba during the Nairobi conference on forward-looking strategies. That preceded Beijing by 10 years. So where is my present now? Thank you.
You can come and take. So as Dr. Sheila comes, Makofi, yes, it was said by Kenneth Matiba. He said, we the women. Okay? So I would like to, you want, okay, give me one.
The presents will finish by the time it comes to the
Okay. Sawa. Karibu. Thank you. Okay. We want to have a short conversation, and the facilitator is a local celebrity. You have seen her many times, and everyone knows her, I think. And she is a manager, executive director, the office of, Zizi, a freak, previously lecturer at KU University. So, Mary Chepkemoi, please join us, and please observe time with this panel of yours.
Oh, thank you. Our chief guest, Professor Fatuma Chege, all other invited guests, members of WERK, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening once again. Yes, I'm just going to take 2 minutes, and I will do an activity that we all rise and sit, and just to see who is in the room, okay? So when I mention something, you say, that is me, and you stand and sit. All right, okay? Okay, I am a member and a friend of Women Educational Researchers of Kenya. Yes, that is the whole idea. Yes, I am a member and a friend of Women Educational Researchers of Kenya. Please say, that is me. I have been a member of the Women Educational Researchers of Kenya for the past 10 years. I have been a member of the Women Educational Researchers of Kenya for the past 1 year. All of you? No, it can't be all of you. Is there anyone for the past 1 year? Yes. For the past 1 year. Yes, I mean since 2024. Yes, 2024. Is there a member? All right, so my gift is not going to anyone. So good evening, everyone, once again, and welcome to our panel discussion. We celebrate WERK at 30. It's such an important time. It's such a joyful moment, and it's such great time to be alive, to see this organization that has been around for 30 years, and yet we are celebrating it. My name is Mary Chepkemoi. I am not in the executive director's office, but I lead the gender team in the organization. And I have been a member of the Women Educational Researchers of Kenya for the past 13 years. And I am proud of being here today. I started off as a research assistant. I remember going to Garissa with Dr. Sarah Ruto. I remember working with Dr. Sheila Wamaihi. I think once I became a researcher. I remember working with Professor Fatuma Chege, and I am all excited to see all these ladies around, and it gives me a lot of pleasure. I also bring you greetings from the Zizi Afrique Foundation. Our executive director was not able to make it this evening. To be known and to be acknowledged and to be friends of the women educational researchers of Kenya. I look forward to the conversation. And like the Chief Executive Officer said, we celebrate work. We look at 30 years since this organization came into being. And we look at 30 years of this organization advancing the rights of women and girls. We look at 30 years of this organization being a voice for women and girls to get back to school and get to achieve their learning outcomes. We look at 3 decades of this organization championing research, linking advocacy to research, linking research to action. It is such a wonderful moment to be. And I believe because of this work, many of us, I included, are where we are today because we were held hands by the various women who looked at our potential as well as the men, and we are here today to celebrate. As we begin, I thank all of you for coming. I think, like Winnie said, this wouldn't be a conversation without you. And today, our discussion is around, like I said, celebrating work at 30. And we shall be looking at the ambitious strategy that we have just been talked to about. We shall be talking about the engagement of members in the organization and making members feel like they belong and appreciate the reason as to why they joined the organization. We will also be talking around gender inclusivity and engagement in the organization. I know sometimes it can be a challenge saying that I'm affiliated to a women educational led body, but we would like to just see what these we can bring them on board to be part and parcel of this journey. And definitely looking at work's impact and legacy over the years. So our discussion will take 40 minutes. We will have a very tight time, and we will offer every participant time to just share their insights. And at the end, we will give you a few minutes to
this opportunity, and as a man, and even James being here, that is a misconception. But this misconception perhaps arises from the manner in which we have done things, which drives the wrong impression that there is no space for men. So what does WERK need to do? I'll only highlight one thing. First of all, I'll say to increase the participation of men in the various activities that we do in WERK. For example, they have started, and we are here. I've been given a chance to speak to you. But also, tapping from what James has said, one of the ways in which men can feel part of the process is when their ideas are also listened to. They are also, made loud. And one of the ways to do that is, for instance, in terms of the structure, to have the caucuses that we are talking about, they could be thematic, but they would also be based on certain demographics. Like we can say, we want to have a caucus for the young people and we map out the age. We can also have one for the male, so that it becomes a reference point. And so WERK can tap men's voices, aspirations, and fears, and joys, and frustrations from that particular caucus. Normally, when you want to run away from talking so much, you say, there is so much I would have said, but time is not on our side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Likoe. You have actually answered the 3 other questions that I had for you.
See how powerful men can be?
Thank you for saving us time. Over to you, Prof. All right. Thank you, Ernest. I'll address that. And so over to you, Professor Bunyi. And we look at the critical role that WERK plays as a research organization, as a research hub, and of course, as a mentorship platform. I would like you to kindly paint your journey being a member of WERK, your growth journey or curve, and what being a member of the Women Educational Researchers of Kenya has meant to you as a profession and as a woman, really.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here and to participate in this panel. And to offer my reflections about my experiences with WERK and the benefits that I have derived from the same. I want to say that I came into WERK very early, not very early. I think I came in 1998. Yeah, in 1998. And I found the organization existing in the founder chair's house, home. So that is the small beginnings of the organization, but also the familiar, I'm talking about not familiar in terms of being known, but the family kind of environment in which the organization started. When I came into the organization, I had already completed my studies as far as research is concerned, and therefore I came in like a new graduate of my PhD program. And I studied outside, therefore I was actually happily surprised to find a vibrant research community in WERK. And that community, of course, comprised of Sheila, people like Karen Hyde, Anna Obura, Fatuma Shege, and others that were around at that time. So for me, WERK served as a what? Internship, would you call it? Yeah, where you come with the theory and then you come to practice, and practice with people who have been in the game for some time. And therefore, that was a good entry point for me. And from that point on, we continued to work. And therefore, there would not be a problem of succession or of perpetuation of the organization for lack of people to do it, because we have them. So for me, that is going to be a challenge. Because if we want to do good quality research, it is not data collection and writing of reports. It's writing of papers that are judged by others, and not just the mentor that you're working with, but others in the research world out there. And that is a challenge. But that is where we want to go. As an organization, I think we need for
So maybe you are one of the people I had noticed. You smile at me, but now I'm not taking your smile. So Instagram moment. Hey, najua mmechoka, and I know food is getting ready. Food is getting ready. So the camera and the video. When I want us to wave both our hands left and right. When I say 30, you go 30, 30. And then we'll do it 5 times. And then when I say hooray, everyone will say hooray. Okay? Yeah. So we start with your left. Okay? Okay. 30. Okay, also you say 30. Okay? 30. 30. You wave. 30. 30. 30. 30. 30. 30. 30. So, when I was 5 years old, Dr. Sheila was 38. And at that time, she coordinated a nascent and ad hoc group of women researchers with Fatuma Chege as a coordinator to ensure their participation in the preparatory activities for the Beijing conference. In 1995, the ad hoc group formally established itself as WERK, and Dr. Sheila became its first chair, championing the mentorship of young people and the creation of gender learning network. Today, Dr. Sheila Mayu is an acknowledged thought leader and researcher who acts as a feminist voice from and for the global South.
right? So you see, we co-created all this. We did not come up with it ourselves. We may have given the what you call leadership, but we had distributed leadership. So that's important to remember. And then we considered, like, men were there right from the beginning, Likoi. The work, women includes men, not the other way around. When we say the word man includes women and you don't find them, the word women includes M-E-N, plural, M-A-N, singular. But we also know women, even politically, are not in the gender, we have not achieved the two-third gender rule. We've known situations when men are not the only wise people. The women's history, which is what WERK documented to start with, to make visible that there were wise women. There were women leaders, even in traditional African society, in traditional cultures. And that is very important to remember. But we were stamped on, hidden, and thrown away with the... We also have to look at the interaction between the whole colonial experience that really reduced women's power. And it showed as if in traditional societies, women didn't have power, but women had a lot of power. And power does not mean sitting on top of anybody else. That is not true power. So these are some of the early things that we co-created and we thought and we involved men from the beginning. And even if we didn't, I would have no apology to make for it, because women, there were there were research organizations, which I was also a co-founder, called ERNIKE, Education Research Network of Kenya, which was linked to a regional one. But ERNIKE, we found that our women's space was not there. So we decided this needs to be created. And one of the things, maybe one or two more points that I'll make, that WERK was created at the confluence of both global and local situations. Globally, those of you who have read about it, because some of you are young, the work, there was the movement, democratization movements in education, education for all, right? 1990. The girl child, 1990. And then UNICEF pushed it and UNESCO pushed it later. So you have that. We had women's rights movement as well. Within Kenya, we are also having the democratization movement in the 1990s. And WERK, the seed of WERK was from a conference that I had the privilege of organizing when I was still at Kenyatta University with funding from the Canadian CEDA. We had made sure we had women represented equally. It was a regional conference, equally. And that is what we thought, oh, let's have a caucus. WERK started as a caucus. It was not called WERK. It was called Ad Hoc Group of Women Education Researchers. There was no Kenya. So the Kenya came in about 1990. And I'm a historian, as you can see, and a student of culture. This dress that I'm wearing, this was made in 1994 in Dakar, Senegal, when we went for the Beijing PrepCom, the Africa conference. And that one, because I was also coordinator of WERK, we managed to push the voice of WERK. We were few. And after that, Fatuma, the Beijing process, I don't know whether you'll talk about it. I don't want to preempt you. Okay, so for Fatuma, when we called ourselves coordinator, she was my co-coordinator. We didn't call ourselves deputy or something because distributive leadership. She was in charge of the advocacy group. And how did we do advocacy? We transformed research to theater. And we took that to Beijing, and pre-Beijing and Beijing, And what happened? We got recognized globally. We got invited to South Africa. We got invited to South Sudan. We got invited to all over the country. So that was 1995. 1996 is when we were invited to South Africa with the play, Sophie, and the board members. That play is documented. You have it. You're not utilizing it. And it's still relevant. It's on GBV. The first research on transport and girls issues was not, the other day I saw some people talking about it as if it's something new. Fatuma led that research, and I also held a few people by the hand. They would come to my house till after midnight, telling them how to do qualitative research, but Fatuma led that research. So there were many things like that that I can talk about. 1997, the first gender learning network, Winnie. Those are not created now. Gender in education movement, no. The first gender learning network was funded by British Council, and it was national. Yes, now you have offices. That's another growth. But that time, we were bringing people to Nairobi. We trained them using experiential methodology. And if you know Kefeado, they were trained by us at WERK. If you look at, like I said, there's a piece of history in different organizations. The first, I think UNICEF is here, right? One of the first funding that WERK got was UNICEF, just $5,000, not much. We got that to publish that research. No, we got it to publish women visibility, those things we did in women's history. We've given money to do 3 profiles. We did 5 publications. Not very well edited, but it was out there. I don't have time to talk about the impact of that now, maybe another time. We also had funding, FAWE. Is there anybody from FAWE here? Anybody from FAWE? FAWE. We got $20,000 from FAWE, which was a huge amount of money for us, to now republish those profiles, plus do other things, and publish the book that I'm talking about, the one that we converted into a play. That was FAWE funded that. GCN has left. Mercy was here. CARE funded us to do the first research under GCN. That is, so everybody has a piece of our history. We collaborated, we networked, we were creative, and so those were the early beginnings. And by the end of that process, we had 100 members. So I think, let us also ask ourselves, and I know people are hungry, and so am I. Let us ask ourselves, what is it that we can contribute? And UNICEF, by the way, it was not only the $5,000. Now, we've come a full circle, but even prior to the UNGAS, on the children, 2022? No. You remember before 9/11? So the whole of the Africa contribution, I was the consultant at that time for UNICEF, where we had, that time it was OAU conference, and I was training young people. We had the first children's parliament, but we brought in young people from WERK, Salome Katia and 3 others, to train. Because, at that time, at 30, 38, I still looked too old, right, to the children. So I said, let's bring in young people to train them. And that was extremely powerful, because then the executive director of UNICEF, Carol Bellamy, actually said that Salome Katia must be in that team that goes to New York, right? So there was a lot of impact. And UNICEF was there before, and I'm so happy that it's come a full circle. UNICEF is there now, but the other organizations that funded work, like Canadian CEDA, I talked about British Council, there were others I was noting down, which, let me see. Yeah, okay, some of these Even the Australians gave an award to WERK at that time. So I will not talk anymore. I know Ernest works with Jaslika, so he's not interrupting me because he has a job to protect. But I think I will just stop there. And what motivated us is okay, I'll just finish with one final thing. We were very inclusive. Maybe WERK has lost a little bit of that inclusion in the process of professionalizing it. We did not look at what degrees women had, because women, we know, have to give up their careers, they have to give up their education, right? So we would actually welcome women who didn't have degrees and give them that opportunity to learn. That has been lost, I think. I know we had long debates on that issue. So now we've said, okay, if you have a diploma, but for me, I think because women drop out, and it was created for women like those as well. Not only mentoring for the older and younger generations, there were many I mentored who were older than I was. So you need to look at mentoring is not top to bottom. Mentoring can be bottom to top as well. So I'll stop with that. Finally, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Sheila. Let's have a clap for her. And also for setting a record of 15 minutes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. I would like to recognize the presence of MasterCard, Anna Armani, and also Nuru Ayemba. The presence of KU, people from KU, Usawa Agenda, Zizi Afrik, Fawe, UHY. We have Jaslika Foundation, University of Nairobi, Childline Kenya, Men and Femme, AAR, Child Frontiers, and also we have CSE Anduku, PAL Network, Ministry of Education, Save the Children, Kipra, AKU, and CHAI. Of course, GM is also here, Catholic School, and Aquavita. So I would like, because I know we are out of time, I would just like to invite Elizabeth Waitha to just, from UNICEF, to just say a few words, and then Dr. Sheila, you will come to welcome our chief guests. Thank you so much. Karibu, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I acknowledge our chief guest, Professor Fatuma Chege, and other guests, Secretariat from WERK, and also board members. I see we have our government representative here, and all other invited guests. Good evening. Yes, I'm Elizabeth Waitha, Education Officer from UNICEF Kenya office, a partner with WERK. Really glad to join this, huge moment to celebrate 30 years. And I will not take time. I think all of us, we are hungry, as it has been said, so I will not take under 5 minutes, I'll be done. But just to congratulate WERK. I feel very humbled to see that I'm in the midst of founders of WERK here, and the tremendous journey. I was just reflecting what 30 years is, and looking at it from a personal perspective. I was thinking I have a 30-year-old. And when I reflect on a personal journey of bringing up a 30-year-old, there's a lot that WERK has achieved over the years. And it has been mentioned that we've partnered with WERK, and we are still in active partnership with WERK. I'm actually the focal point for our partnership with WERK, and that's why I'm here representing UNICEF. And just to say that WERK has been able to deliver in several partnerships that we've had, from the 5,000 small engagement to where we are at. I can actually say that WERK is one of our key partners that has implemented for us several projects and that we've been able to deliver, and especially in the area of promoting increased access to quality and inclusive education. We've really had great achievement, and we are currently still working in improving access to vulnerable children. And we have a great partnership that is currently ongoing until 2027. And so just for us, on behalf of even other development partners that work with WERK, just to echo that we acknowledge your contribution, that even as you have the arm of research, that you are able to follow through in implementing on areas where there is need. And for me, as an organization that consumes a lot of research, is just to emphasize that we really need credible research. And at such a time that technology is giving a lot of information. And so it's for us to ask what is credible and not credible. And so as WERK reflects on their journey, on the next 30 years, is just to emphasize that we really need organizations that can give us credible information, credible data that you can use for advocacy. Most often we implement and we are not able to give that evidence of what has happened. So even as we implement, we really emphasize that we need to give the data to show what is working, what is still not working. And so the space for research is still there. And there's no argument about that. And so for us is to really encourage the WERK fraternity that you're on the right path. And even just hearing the overview of the strategic plan, I can only see, a transformed, a well-positioned organization that is really geared to be effective at such a time that we need to come up with information and evidence that can support us to continue advancing our agenda to promote the rights of vulnerable children in Kenya. We still know that we do have many disadvantaged communities that we need to reach out to. And so we really need to continue our partnership so that we can, both our mandates, both from UNICEF perspective and from WERK perspective, we can remain relevant. So allow me to stop there and again congratulate WERK fraternity for this far, and hoping that we can still continue our partnership as we get to the next level. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. So there is a car, KCW 005T. KCW 005T, I think you need to give someone access to pass through. So it is my pleasure now to invite Dr. Sheila Omayur so that she can be able to invite our guest for today. Dr. Sheila, karibu.
Thank you. I think by now you know I don't really keep to the script. But because I'm hungry as well, I'll try my best. I think an indicator of a good teacher is by the students, when the students rise up above them and they are way ahead. They leave the teacher behind and they're up there. And Fatuma, now Professor Fatuma Chege, a full professor of education with specialization in gender and education, is one of those people who have left me way behind and has risen to where she is. After completing, her story is fascinating because she's somebody who actually had a second chance at education. She struggled to get an education. After completing 9 years of formal schooling, she joined Kagumo Teachers College, where she trained as a primary school teacher. In her first year of employment, She enrolled with the International Correspondence Schools in the USA and steadily progressed academically, earning a diploma in education from the University of Nairobi, a Bachelor of Education and Masters of Education from Kenyatta University, and ultimately a PhD from the University of Cambridge in the United Kingdom. In fact, now Professor Chege, before just Fatuma Chege, was the first batch of students that I lectured as a very young lecturer. There were mature entrants who had come in from different paths. There was a program at that time. And she was the first, and you would notice that despite the Kamukunji, she's somebody who always stood out because she would come after the lectures to ask questions, to find out. That curiosity was there. And then I was also privileged to be her lecturer when she was doing her master's. And also for a PhD, I'm not, I'm homegrown. My degrees are third world. She was from Cambridge. But I was one of her field supervisors in here. And I must say, when a student is good, you learn as much from the student as the student learns from you. And there's no doubt about that. Her teaching career spans secondary schools, teachers' colleges, and university settings. She became my colleague. Yeah, you were still my colleague before she went to Cambridge, before I resigned from KU. Rising from graduate assistant, that time she was a graduate assistant when I was still there, to full professor of education. So that's a tremendous, steep, you call it learning curve and progress. She is a presidential awardee of the First Class Order of the Chief of the Burning Spear, in recognition of her contribution to the field of education, and the recipient of the Kenyatta University Extra Mile Award for High Research Funding. Over the years, she has taught at both basic and university levels and has mentored numerous young scholars and researchers within and beyond Kenya, some of whom within WERK itself. Her university leadership journey, in fact, you're the one who brought Sarah Ruto to join WERK. Sarah was my student as well, but she's the one who got her to join WERK. Her university leadership journey includes several historic milestones. In 2003, she became the first female chairperson of the Department of Educational Foundations in 2011. Foundations. In 2011, she was elected the first female dean of the School of Education, breaking a long history of male leadership. In 2019, she was competitively and substantively appointed as the first female deputy vice-chancellor in charge of administration, joining a predominantly male university management board. As a research leader, she has established international partnerships across sub-Saharan Africa and Asia, contributing to an extensive body of publications, including books, book chapters, and articles in refereed journals. Professor, I have the pleasure of inviting Professor Fatuma Nyagodhie Chege to the podium.
Wow. A teacher, your teacher is always your teacher. It doesn't matter where you are because the foundation began there. Sheila, thank you so much. And Sheila talks, I become emotional, very nostalgic when she brings down those histories of where we have come from. And I thank you profusely, Sheila. I've learned, when you hear her saying that I am way above her, I have learned a lot from her that has made me who I am. Mwalimu anaishi kuwa mwalimu. Until one of you departs from here, you will be saying now they were. So the CEO WERK, Chair in absentia, members of Women Education Researchers of Kenya, ladies and gentlemen. I am standing here possibly as an enemy of the people who are hungry. And you know the power belongs to? So I hope there will be no demonstration. Where is Ernest? He is responsible for all this. So I hope, you know the power belongs to the people. I hope you will not allow any demonstrations. So I appreciate that we are hungry. However, I am here because I am here and I was meant to be here. I thank God. I traveled yesterday to come to this function. When I learned that it's the celebration of work at 30, there is no way I could make excuses because I realized, and I want to, if you allow me, I want to do this. Having been trained in Comtech, you never allow your audience to see your back. And I have been sympathizing with some of these people here. So I thought 30, that is a whole what? Generation, isn't it? Children have grown up and they have started having their own children. And I am in that bracket because when we started work, those days I had those children. And today they have children. So you can see. And I said this is not something to miss. So I thank you very much for inviting me. I was also very happy listening to the highlights of the strategic plan by James because strategic planning is very close to my heart. We are told if you don't plan, you are planning to do what? You are planning to fail. If you don't have activities aligned to the goals that you have, then you are planning just to move like a mob. If you don't have strategies that can be monitored alongside their actions, you will still be moving as a mob. So when I was listening to that, I was very happy that you have a very clear vision of where work is moving. And I dare say that for work to start the way Sheila described and to be where it is, it means that vision we had those many years ago is still solid, but it doesn't mean that it cannot be renewed without losing track. If you don't know where you are going, everybody else will be showing you where to go, and you lose focus. So I believe that that vision was solid. So Sheila, I thank you very much for giving that history. It's quite nostalgic when you talk about it and giving the details. Now, let me say that it is really an honor for me to be part of this auspicious occasion, and I would request that I read as much as possible, and I don't want to mention hunger. I only want to say that time is of the essence, and we have to try and manage this in the best way that we can. When I was coming, I believed this was a three-pronged event because the strategic plan was going to be launched. But nonetheless, I have heard something about it. We are left now to celebrate the 30 years of the existence of work and also have a dinner. Just that hope that we shall have a dinner, please let it keep you awake. We live by hope, and we have faith that it is the truth. There will be an annual, not any other dinner, but an annual dinner. So I'm looking forward to that and some cake. Now, CEO and work partners, it's good to see you here. Ladies and gentlemen, as a founder member, I find the overarching theme of work at 30, advancing women and girls, as most appropriate in capturing the core mission of work over the last 30 years. and advancing education and development in Kenya via impactful research that continues to inform and influence policy while catalyzing advocacy in various fields of development. Thus, WERK has remained steady as an esteemed women's research organization in this country with impacts that are renowned beyond the Kenyan borders. Historically, the Women Education Researchers of Kenya is on record for the quality work founded on evidence-based research, especially in the field of education, using gender lens that helps in focusing and building the research capacity of women within professional settings that have embraced the inclusion of men who are committed to foregrounding the voices of women and girls. And it's so good that Sheila pointed out we had in those initial stages men of that caliber, and we are also seeing them here. I even remembered Abagi. Dr. Abagi was one of those founding members. Ladies and gentlemen, as I stand before you, I have a daunting task of answering a question courtesy of the CEO of WERK. And it's in the form of a question that asks me, as Fatuma, how do we translate 30 years of experience into renewed purpose of these changing times to impact the youth and the next generation? In my humble view, this question can best be answered when given access to existing documentation or documented evidence to which I am currently not privy. It is a question that I think can take time to answer because one needs to understand where WERK is coming from, what it has achieved, what were the challenges, what were the failures, and what has been done in order now to have a whole picture of now what we need to do based on that knowledge. Nonetheless, I did not give up. I said I'll give it my best shot. And even with my experience of speaking in numerous fora, the request to answer that question, Madam CEO, in 10 to 15 minutes, that is the kind of question that we get as consultants. Tell us how we can do this based on this history, and we are given several months. So 10, 15 minutes, it is really being unfair to answering that question. And as I speak, the reducing balance of that time is ticking away. And I hope I will not be stopped somewhere by the manager of this discussion. Being one of the founding members brings along the temptation to overspeak my memories of how things worked then and possibly inform on how they may work in the future and for the future generations. Also, as a university professor, not in the least a qualitative researcher who relies mainly on speaking and discussing with research subjects. Talking is my main tool of trade, and hence I find myself very constrained and limited by the current task, which brought back memories of my university student days when we used to sit cuts that had those kinds of questions or term papers that we had to write and submit within a given time. Nonetheless, I am humbled, Madam CEO and members, to speak while appreciating the time constraint. Ladies and gentlemen, I must confess that it is not easy or even desirable for a chief guest to come forward and start prescribing how to build a future based on 30 years of existence. Effective prescriptions would require keen diagnosis, isn't it? Nonetheless, With your permission, I will begin by acknowledging that WERK has been a beacon of empowerment in steering social change through collaborative research that provides evidence-based research in tandem with good practices locally and abroad. It is inspiring to note that WERK has remained reasonably on course, and having witnessed WERK initiatives since the mid-1990s, when I think we are baby boomers. Who was talking of those? We are baby boomers. When we, the baby boomers, including myself, operated basically in an analog fashion, those memories linked to what I had, what was her name? Where the young panelist here? Yes, what she is telling us. You can see we were miles apart from what they are talking about. And as they talk of being mentored by the elders, even the elders would like to be mentored and coached by the younger generation. I do remember one time I traveled up country. We used to use things called modems to get internet. And I called my son and I said, I'm very frustrated. He said, why? I need to send some documents abroad and I forgot my modem. He said, Mom, what is the purpose of having such a powerful phone that you have and you are telling me of modems? I said, how are they related? So he told, open your computer. I did. Your phone. He told me, do this, do this. And then I saw, wow, Google. I told him, son, you're a genius. He told me, Mom, I'm not a genius. Your phone is. So we would like the young people to also not leave the elders behind so that we enhance each other. Now, let me say that, let me look at 3 points which I would want to highlight. That firstly, it is indisputable that the history of WERK as a research-based organization is as old as today's youth and the younger generation that we are concerned about how to impact. These, the ones we could call youth, and I guess I am right, would include the millennials. These are the 1981 to 97 that are actually in the age group of my children and who were babies when some of us were birthing WERK. Some of those millennials were privileged to witness the earlier activities of WERK as participants, which, who are then mainly in analog fashion. I would remember intergenerational dialogues that took place during the interactive role plays, and Sheila would ask very difficult questions to her son, Karuru, regarding sexual harassment and things like that. And I do remember the son saying, what I know is that sex is something that happens between adult men and adult women. You know, just opening up that space which was seen as a taboo subject. To the best of my knowledge, the generation then came the Generation Z of 1997 to 2012, which also falls in the first decade of WERK, at a time when digitization was taking shape in our country. So we are seeing that there are two generations that are squarely within the beginning decades of WERK. Today, I have heard there are other generations of between 2010 to 2024. And these ones are just about like 14-year-olds. And the oldest could be joining junior school. The reason I am taking note of this is that at 14, these young people are able to speak for themselves and provide their own world views that would enable the older adults to work with them, to understand their world and be able to work with them. In this context, WERK has to not only imagine how best to translate 30 years' experience to impact on the next generations, but also consistently continue reimagining various scenarios with the insights derived from these young generations. This brings in the inclusivity that has been talked about here. We have to create environments where all generations are able to talk with each other and understand where each each generation is coming from. However, I also note that the strategic plan demonstrates the intention of working futuristically in the cost of the much hyped realities of the Quantum Leap 2040, whereby AI, in combination with other emerging technologies, will have taken center stage in ways that will support human intelligences. I hope we are not saying AI will come to replace the human intelligences. So we are looking forward to when AI will be enhancing our own human intelligence in ways that will benefit every aspect of life with unprecedented accuracy and speed. Definitely this dimension will be a motivation to young minds of the younger generation. Now, in the second point, ladies and gentlemen, as we task ourselves, and note we are saying we, I cannot prescribe. It is a joint venture. As we task ourselves to translate the 30 years familiarities of work into renewed purposes to impact the youth and the next generations, it is important to remember that such translation cannot be a simplistic event, but rather a process of building on historical strengths, which we have listened to today, which are required over time, which have been acquired over time, and also look at the lessons learned over those 3 decades. As James said here, a phased-out strategic plan will allow the connection between the past, the present, and the future of work, focusing on successes of innovation, inclusion, creativity, and intergenerationality. We must remember that youth and the next generations belong to an era where most engagement is virtual and digital. They are in an era where interactions are enhanced through experiences of virtual realities as part of their communication, socialization, and educational activities. With this knowledge, work can begin to address the task in my tray in ways that are meaningful to the younger generation by listening and engaging them in meaningful activities. The third point I would wish to bring out is that the foundational mandates of work is to advancing women's and girls' voices with special focus on gender equality, peace, freedom, and freedom from gender-based violence is an imperative to bear in mind, because even the youth face the GBV possibly in different ways than we, the baby boomers, experienced it. Indeed, younger generations are most often affected in profound ways within their social digital platforms, outside the physical world, where sometimes we have witnessed regrettable, fatal consequences. Most of us would be aware of online bullying, body shaming, identity theft, image cloning, negative messaging, and so on. I can confidently say that all the spaces that human beings currently occupy, virtually, physically, or otherwise, are continually threatened by the presence of GBV, be it in homes, workplaces, in the community, and in most frequented various digital sites and different forms. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to point out that work has done remarkably well in harmoniously harnessing the skills, perspectives, and participation of both female and male members in their activities. This approach has ensured that gender equality is never lost between the cracks of the generations as we pursue the eradication of all forms of gender-based violence across the generations. It is important to point out that GBV comes in multifarious, and some of us studying related issues, as Dr. Mahue has pointed out, since our youth in the 1990s, when the vice was mainly in physical forms and difficult to talk about it publicly. I do remember that some of us researched GBVs extensively and generated evidence that informed our activities in challenging harassment in schools, public spaces, and other spaces that were frequented. The young generation can be supported to access this history from such research and be helped to relate it and reinvent it in their spaces so that they are able to tackle it. Back in 1994-95, we were using various communications that included publications, seminars, posters, interactive plays to effect our cause in public spaces, the public transport, university halls, and so on. However, the young generations, and I'm calling them generations because there are about 3 there in between, and others are coming. The young generations will be encountering a simulation of the same in different spaces, and therefore the strategies that we used need to be understood so that they can be transformed to respond to such issues of the young people. I do remember that during my youth, I was so involved in challenging GBV, and at one time in my workplace, I became nicknamed sexual harassment. And one day as I entered the staff room to take tea, some of my senior colleagues started making fun, with one of them shouting, "Here comes sexual harassment." Another one added, "I would like to be sexually harassed right now." I can even see their faces when I am now reading this, and my mind gets disturbed. However, I did not allow the comments to pass without challenging the speakers and protesting that they were indeed verbalizing GBV against me. At some point, it became so bad that I wrote a seminar paper and presented it in our staff seminar sessions. That seminar was over-attended by mainly one gender and of senior members of staff. My paper was being discussed before its time, and saying now she wants us now to stop our style of wooing women, we have touched them and so on, but I waited for my time. I presented the fireworks in the discussions, and only one man was on my side. And that one I can mention because it was a good practice, called Dr. Ngome. He was not a doctor then, and he challenged the men. And I remember one of the female members of staff who was my colleagues actually walked out, and she was asking, "How could you just sit there and listen to those men say that?" And I told her, the moment you walk out, then. So these experiences now are coming in different spaces for the young people, and they need to look at our strategies and see how they can adapt them within the spaces where they experience GBV. We are told, and we learned, Dr. Sheila, you remember, Obi Obiero Diambo. We learned from a man that men do not like to be called out when they are misbehaving. They misbehave because whoever is being harassed is silent, and so it goes on in silent. And I remember now we had this man who used to write script plays for us and taught our students that you must respond immediately and make it public. and those ladies became empowered and their lives changed, by the way. In the Gikuyu language, they say the antelope does not hate the one who sees it, it hates who? The one who calls it out. You see an antelope and you shout, it is you, it will hate. But if you just see it and keep quiet, it will continue eating the grass. So having said that, fellow members, colleagues, and friends, 30 years of notable progress for this research organization is not a mean feat. I recall with nostalgia when WERK, where is Grace Bunyi? When WERK could not even afford an office. So this, you can see how it has sunk into our hearts. Those studied, Bunyi mentioned, Sheila mentioned, all those people who belonged in that group would remember. And we were provided space in her family sitting room. Not only that, we were fed in her, using her own resources. She fed us with tea, snacks, lunches, and occasionally even dinners when meetings would stretch into the night. To my recollection to date, Sheila has never billed any of us for that. And we thank you. Otherwise, WERK would have collapsed. We didn't have money. She has never billed anybody. The only thing I remember I owe Sheila is a pair of shoes, because we learned in South Africa when we were presenting our role play, the students there were saying, you know, the lecturers here, they always tell us that we pay them by buying them shoes. So she told me, you owe me shoes, which I have never paid. But you never know. Yeah, you may never know. And so, Sheila, we thank you. Had you not done that, I do not think we would have made the milestones we made. This demonstrates the determination, resilience, courage, perseverance, and personal sacrifices that I cannot help but acknowledge at this point of 30 years of growth. The young generations can learn something from this spirit to capture, as they capture the history of WERK and adapt similar strategies that can help in their generational stories. I had here a mention of, what did you call them? Caucuses. I do think that is a very important point in your strategic plan, so that you can rally around a particular theme or a particular grouping, and members can address some of these issues within their knowledge and experiences, and the generations will learn from one another. Ladies and gentlemen, I am still attempting to respond to the task. And I will not, even at this point, want to, not claiming that I am answering, but I am trying to really think through how this can be pleased. But my consolation comes in the fact that WERK is already pursuing those answers. As I noted in the strategic plan 2026-2030. In this strategic plan, I am humbly recommending that if we want to understand how we can translate that 30-year experience to impact on young people, you might or you may consider having a goal that specifically addresses that, how to impact on the generations of young people. Because we say, when you are not mentioned, you don't exist. It is so important, if you are concerned about that, to just see whether you can rally a goal around that, so that you are able to design activities that align to that impacting of young people using the history of 30 years, strategies that have worked, and others which didn't work, why they didn't work. It would help so that you keep those young generations into focus with the purpose of using the history and the wealth of 30 years to impact the generations to come. And I hope you will consider that, so that you have specific measurable objectives assigned to a goal of young people, planning activities with clear strategies to guide the achievement of that concern of impacting on young people, and clearly expected outputs and outcomes. Have a clear picture. that when you do this, this is the change we expect to see. I do not wish to comment further on the strategic plan because it is work in progress. However, I would wish to encourage that you locate at the task at hand clearly within that strategic plan, making sure that the historical milestones of work are used for reference, point of reference, and that key issues and how they were responded to in empowering young people. Those people, they were very young generations, but now I know they are older. We can't call them young people. How it worked and link it to the concern of impacting the new generations. Overall, the vision of work should then have a component that is envisioning those young people, impacting about those young people. And the same will go to the mission. That mission should have a component that is dedicated to the impacting of young generations based on the concerns raised. And I thought, I saw one of the goals asking what is work identity. And I thought, work has an identity, but there is no problem in refining that identity. And I was thinking of an identity like an intergenerational community of researchers and gender advocates. When you say intergenerational, as you define concepts, you will actually tease out what this intergenerational is about, and it will include me with my several generations of children with those Gen Alphas and the others. So I was just thinking that that identity should be refined in a way that it is inclusive. In addition, to be able to build on the experiences of 30 years, it's imperative to conduct a formative analysis that fronts and places young generations in the following aspects. Where have been the trends? Where have been the young people in those 30 years? And that trend will help to envision how you can channel the future for them. Also, looking at the strengths of impacting on young people, I think that would be an important formative analysis, plus others, which I will not go into at this point. Finally, CEO and ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate 30 years of work in action, let us look ahead, bearing in mind that we will be distinguished and made relevant to the various categories of younger generations mentioned here, if we are able to motivate their curiosity to discover, to innovate, and to act as subjects in a just world in which they rightfully feel comfortable to belong in. I also feel that we will be distinguished by these younger generations when we, the older ones, demonstrate our passion in what we do as we pursue organization visions collaboratively, because young people will learn from what we do, not from what we tell them. Lead through action that spells out perseverance when encountering challenges in trying to effect work mission. And definitely, I have heard it mentioned here, the issue of mentorship and coaching the young people on values of persistence through teamwork and pushing boundaries to achieve work goals. We mentor, we continue mentoring, and we also coach on how things are done, and that I know has been happening. We mentor by engaging young people and monitoring and supporting them in participating in our activities. It is like coaching a ball game. So I pray in these final remarks that after successful journey of 30 years, work may step into the next 30 years with enhanced strength, determination, renewed energies, that support ethical means of pursuing knowledge creation, that supports inclusion, responsiveness, and transformative agendas in its intent, purposes, and outcomes. Let us commit to remain part of the builders of the work legacy that will lead us into the future, because the future, and it was mentioned here, is ours to create, behold, be fulfilled within it, and survive successfully in that manner. So I wish you all the best as we pursue those impacts using the experience of 30 years, and wish you happy holidays. And thank you for not demonstrating.
Thank you so much. It was so informative, and I think I'll be one of the people who will be asking for this speech just to reread it again, because I think there's a lot of ideas that have come out of there. And when you're not mentioned, you are? You are? You do not exist. So thank you so much, Professor Fatuma Chege, yes. And I would like to give you a gift even before you sit down, and I will request Dr. Sheila if you can just come and present a gift to Dr. Sheila, to Prof. Where do we stand? Yes. So there is something that we would like to give you, and also as we continue giving the gifts, DJ, maybe you can just toast slow music, and also Lynette and Mora, maybe if you can start bringing the cake over, okay? And we would like to recognize some members. I can see some of them going. Wangui Nganga, please come. Wangui Nganga. Where is the gift? Yeah? Yes. Wangui Nganga. And also we have Anna Ubura. On behalf of Anna Ubura, I think Professor Buni, you can take the present on behalf of Anna Ubura, who apologized. We also want to Zipporah Rimbui. Zipporah Rimbui, I think we will give it to Dr. Sheila, that she will take the gift on behalf of Zipporah. Yes? Yeah? Yeah. Anna? Dina Ogola? Dr. Sheila, Prof. Dr. Sheila, you can hand it to Prof. Yes, thank you so much. Yes. Then. Thank you. So I would like to tell you why we are gifting Wangui Nganga. Was the first founding member program officer. That's why we are giving her something today. So Wangui Nganga, maybe you can give Sophia. Thank you. Yeah. Same to next we have Bora, come and so much. You Dr. Anna Okura is the founder, the people who foster and the meeting to conceptualize. So Professor will be receiving this on behalf of Dr. Anna Okura. We get our We have Dina Ogola. Dina Ogola is a human resource and governance officer, the longest serving staff. Served for 12 years in city and education. So, that is for Ogola. So, we also have Dora Review, who is a founding member, and the Shila will take it on her behalf. I think so. So I now invite Ora with the so that we cut the cake. Yeah, so that we can cut the cake and we eat. Yeah. Yeah. So we need to cut the cake. We need to
Yeah, it is time to celebrate WERK at 30. And I am a beneficiary since I joined WERK in 2015. I am so proud. And as we cut the cake, I want to share one little experience. I gained research skills that have helped me even in my studies. And it is in WERK that I first boarded an aeroplane.
Hello, hello. How are you? Simusimame kidogo tu jameni, jinyoshe. Tunataka kula keki. Hata dakika moja tu. Simama, nyorosha mikono, furahi. Mimi njaa iliisha when I began listening to women of substance speak, and I loved the joke about buying a pair of shoes, and I discovered I owe the chief a pair of shoes. I owe Sheila. I owe Professor Bunye. And I love it. Hello? Yeah, tunataka tukate keki, a lovely cake we have. Work at 30 years anniversary, that is what it is written. This cake has a great flavor, and the reason is because there are many ingredients in here, each ingredient adding its own value and contributing to the great flavor. That symbolizes the spirit of work. We have members with diverse talent, expertise. We value each one of you. We give space to each one of you. You remember Sheila said that work is the definition for true inclusion. We give you space to make meaningful contribution, to contribute to greater impact in the society, just like this cake has got a place for every ingredient. So as you eat the cake, reflect on unity in diversity and the value that you will add to the organization. I want to call our chief guest as we prepare to cut, tutengeneze wimbo. I want to call the EO, I want to call Sheila, the founding chair. I want to call all founding members. I want to call Likoe Marenya to represent we men in the spirit of true inclusion. Please come forward, our chief, founding chair EO, life members present. Likoe, come and hold the knife. All of you, Roslyn, please arrange them, give them the knife, give us a song, and let us celebrate the moment. Kata. Keki ni tamu. Celebrate the moment. A bit of dancing, Mary Gentile, the room. Keki ni sweetie. A bit of dancing, using sitting. Sweetie, keki ni sweetie. Founding chair, please feed our chief. Founding chair, feed our chief with a cake. Founding chair, I owe you a pair of shoes. Our chief, mine will be a special pair, chief. Shoes are coming. You are women of substance. Professor Bunyi's shoes are on the way. You have contributed to the success of work. We celebrate you. Women of substance. Nikoya, we celebrate you. Representing women. Sophia, you are at the center of success. Implementation chief. We celebrate you today, Sophia. We appreciate you. Our chief, please feed the founding chair. Yeah. Chepkemoi, we celebrate you. Gen Z. Our Gen Z members going places. Woo! Professor Mary Otieno, we celebrate you. James, we celebrate you. Love you. A great job you did, Professor Nyerere, we celebrate you. The Secretariat, we celebrate you. Our satellite officers, we love you. Busia, Kajiado, the Luo Nyanza office, you are at the center of our success. Sikutwa, we celebrate you. We have walked with you a long journey. Even if I can't see you, just know I celebrate you. Our partners, we celebrate you. UNICEF, we celebrate your partnership. Thank you for honoring us. All the organizations present. Zizi Afrique Foundation, we love you. Sarah Ruto, we value your contribution. John Mugo in absentia. Celebrate the moment. Thank you. Our chief, our founding member, professors, our EOs, women of Rosirida, Ibosio, Adomushere wa Bene. Rosirida, Reza, Tamanya, Mushere wa Bene, Ibosio. Ilolanga Rosirida, Mushere wa Bene, Ibosio. Rosirida, Reza, Tamanya, Mukanga, Dona Sundulo, Busi. Rosirida, Reza, Tamanya, Mukanga, Dona Sundulo, Busi. Mukangala, Aki, if you can't dance to please. Hey, I will tell you what it means. Mubandu nukata, wate shisakale. Mubandu nukata, wate shisakale. Mukangala, olisini omusumba. Mukangala, yeme buta. Mukangala, olisini omusumba. Mukangala.
Watu wa kule keki.
Mukangala, mwihonye lukugwasi. Mukangala, kuwirira ngaziko. Mukangala, mwihonye lukugwasi.
Yes, so as we continue to dance, I would just like to say that one of our guests was Mastercard Foundation, which we really value. Thank you for coming, Mastercard Foundation.
Motorali amodo idenya yake akamodo
Thank you. I was trying to see if I can actually sing the song. But so that we continue dancing for a long time, the MC silently asked me to thank all of you. So if, give me just 1 minute of your time. Let me move away from the cake and maybe closer to the people. But now there's a pillar in between. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor to have you all this while. Our chief guest, Prof, we really appreciate. You've been patient with us, but also the insights that you have shared this evening. And I'm glad that even Ernest was like, he wants to reread, the speech. So we really appreciate. And we appreciate the history that we have been given by Dr. Sheila Wamahiu. It's not always easy to have somebody who has all that information and shares with such passion. So I'd like to also thank you and thank our panelists as well. We had various speakers for the evening. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Thank you. We had a very balanced panel, actually, so we really appreciate that. We had different representatives today. The guests, we had organizations, our partners, our donors that were present today. We are really grateful for being patient, for supporting our work, for participating this evening. Even if we did not have many interactions, but we saw discussions even amongst the team members, so we really appreciate that. And to the members that are present, all categories represented, from life members to the young members. I don't know how many young members we have. Maybe some did not recognize themselves as young members, but we hope that we are going to have this organization revitalized as we have had in the new strategic plan that we have ahead of us, and so we are very happy for this. The team that has put together all this, the secretariat, we really appreciate the time, the effort, the keenness to detail, and you have made, the day successful. The place has been beautiful. We appreciate. We had our sign language interpreter who has braced through all these long hours to actually get all our team members also participating with us. The media team, we appreciate you. On behalf of the other board members that are not present here, we want to thank each and every one of you for your participation, for your insights, for your thoughts, and for your support to work as an organization. As we move forward, let's move forward together. We have had many things, but we'll just mention 3. We have a lot of power in our membership. We have had lots of talks about quality. We had cutting-edge research and all that, but we also had about collaboration. So for me, these are the 3 things that will represent many of what was talked about this evening. So on that note, I'd like us to appreciate ourselves and all the people that I have listed, and everyone is included, right? All right, so we are going to do, we always hear factorial clubs and they start from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But we'll just start from 3 because a few of us are still eating. So when I count to 3, please remember, how do the factorial clubs go? So we have 3, and then we go to 2, and then we go to 1. And remember, you're part of the people being appreciated. So do it like you're appreciating yourself. So on 3, 2, 1, go. Awesome. Some people were not smiling, but I hope you can smile even as you leave this place. So let's enjoy, let's celebrate together, and more music, please, DJ. Thank you, everyone. Ernest.
Mobala poingala se andoto alotina zwelie mana natangala muki alia tunangai akamati decision mobali nangai baboya kamoninga poeti Est-ce que vous réfléchissez? Mais moi, je suis à toquer dans le tribunal. Je vais sauver juste moi, je suis
DJ Johnny 254.
Esa makambo liwa ya kala ezalaki eloko ya mawa lelo ekoma liseki esika ya rendez-vous